Hi everybody, it's Willow. So we're continuing with the little mini series of findings and tools and techniques. And I am today going to share with you. Now, in this series, I can only share with you the tools and techniques that I use and how I do them. So, welcome to the world of Willow. This is how I do them. So today we are going to work with um, jewelry stems, also known as pinheads, but these ones have a little decorative ball on them, so I call them jewelry stems. And then we are going to use the earring hook. So yes, we're creating a pair of earrings. So let me turn this around and we will get started. So welcome back. We are going to be using these little jewelry stems. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Thank you for waiting for me. Okay. So here's what I have. I have I have these little stems and sometimes they get bent up. I take this little silicone pair of pliers. It's a pair of pliers that's got silicone tips on it instead of metal tips, and it just allows you to straighten these or to straighten your wire if that's what you're using. So what I want to do is I'm going to put my bead on. You remember this bracelet that we made? So I am going to make a pair of earrings to match it. So I put on the big bead and I want to come in and I'm just going to take the small bead, take one of the small seed beads, and I want to put that on there before I put on the star, because as I'm going up through the dent of the star, I don't want no wire to show. And that's going to do marvelous. I think this might be a smaller. Let me see here. Are these different sizes? They are. So make sure you get your pin heads the same size. Why is everything sticking to me? Okay, so let's straighten this one. And is this different size than this one? I need to, seems like they should have all been the same size. It is the same size. How odd. Okay, fine. So we're going to put on the big bead, but I am using a small seed bead because if I just put on the star, then the stem is going to show. And this is what I wanted to do. And then that is going to leave me enough room, just enough room to turn that. So let's go ahead. Now, here's what some people would tell you to do. They'll tell you to bend it over sideways and then roll it back. And that should give you a perfect round circle. That will be ready to use, just like this. So let's do the other one real fast. So I'm going to use the silicone pliers and straighten this out. And then I'm going to put on my bigger bead, and if you'll see, that little ball stops it from falling off. Then I'm going to put on my seed bead as a little spacer, pick out the star I want and put it on, and then I'm ready to fold this down. So I put my finger here to hold that up so I can get a hold of that. Now bend it towards you and then roll. And let's see what that gave us. It should have gave us another I'm not happy with that. That just didn't. See, I have a hard time with that. I've said that before. Bend it backwards, then roll it forward. And that should give you the perfect circle. Well, okay. Okay. It gave me a decent circle. But I'm coming in with my flat pliers. And I'm going to make sure it's flattened out and straight. Yeah, just for myself. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to hold my hook up. See how my hook comes up? So the hook part's up, the curve part is below. And for this, you can use your needle nose, but I'm going to come in with the bent pliers. I'm going to go right here just on top. You see that? I'm not going to do it this way because it's going to mess up. It's going to mess up your curve. So come right here on top and just pull that curve, pull that out. You see how that's open now? But remember, you want this pointy part up. Now slide on your charm that you just created. And then take these and push that back. Just close it back. And then I like to take it and make sure it's straight. And then I just give it a little pressure. And there is that earring. So let's do that again. Here is the earring hook. I'm taking these pliers up here and I'm just going on the top, pushing it out. And I push it out away from me. Hold that little bead up where it belongs. Slide on your charm. And then come back in with your pliers and bend this back. As such, I like to take my pliers and make sure it's evened up. Couple little soft squeezes to make sure it's shut tight. And here you go, a simple pair of earrings that matches the bracelet we made previously. So that is how you can use a jewelry stem. Another way you can work with one of these is when you put a bead on, and I don't know if this bead might be too big, but I'm going to try. And you want, no, it's fine. And you want to make a circle, put your bead on, take your pliers down to where you want it, and wrap it around. Okay, just wrap it around. So now that's around to where I want it. I'm going to take my other pliers, and again, I like the bent ones for this. And I'm going to turn that up to right there. I'm going to take these pliers and I'm going to pull it tight around there. And then I'm going to wrap it around that stem. Let me turn this way. And then when I get my pliers on, I'm going to do it this way because it's easier for me to see. Let me hold it with this hand. And then I'm going to wrap it. So this takes a lot of practice, and it's really not one of my favorite ways to do it. Basically because even though I have practiced some of it, I'm not very good at it. But I've done it. So I wrap it around there a couple of times. And until you really get used to doing it this way, don't be in a rush. Remember, you grow as you learn, and you learn as you do. Okay. So now I have that wrapped around there a couple of times. Yeah, I think that's good. See if I can pull it once more. Right there, I wanted it on the side. And now I'm going to take my flush cutters and go in and cut that. Make sure that's pushed down. And there is that wrapped bead. And that works well for a lot of people. For me personally, I have a really hard time doing that, maybe because, like I said, I would really need more practice with it. But you can do that, and that creates a charm as well. So that is how I use the bead stems to create charms and to make earrings. Now, if I'm other ways I use these to make a charm, and I'll show you. Like when I make my dangly bookmarkers, I may use a little piece of chain, but because no one's going to be wearing it and it's on the bookmarker, I may put on like a little bead and then put on, let's say, my star, and then another little bead. And now I want to use these as on my bookmarker. And I don't want to wrap it because, like I told you, it's not my favorite way. I may come in to cut this down to about where I want to take it. And I will put my finger up here to make sure that doesn't shoot off, because that can hurt somebody. If your beads come off, just get your stem and put them back on. Okay, I have that bead. But I'm going to have to get another small bead to put on top. Not a problem. I have plenty here. Now, this is something that I do if I'm like making one of my dangle bookmarks. I'll come up here to the end, right to the end, and I'll turn it all the way down and keep turning it down. And sometimes it just comes back up. I'm not worried about this being that perfect little circle. So it may come down a couple of times. But there you go. That's a quick way. I may do it, and I will attach these to a little chain that I would then put onto a bookmarker, and I may show you later how I make my bookmarkers. But for right now, that's how I use the earring hooks and the head pins. So if you will, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and notify on my video. Every time you interact with my video, it just helps me in the algorithm, and I really do appreciate that. I do want to see my channel grow, just like I want to help others to grow their jewelry making skills. So also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will get back to them as quickly as I can. So remember, tomorrow's a brand new day and the magic resets. Stay forever magical, my friends, with much love and gratitude. Blessed be.